There you go.
All right. Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Honeydew Carpenter and the always beautiful Mrs. Honeydew Carpenter. This is our Saturday morning live show. It's kind of a little bit of a somber time right now for our entire nation and the entire world. And we're all feeling the effects of it. And you know what? We're going to get through it. And we're going to come out the other side learning a lot of things and being a lot stronger. Just on our front, how it's affecting us is, and why it's a little bit scary just for us and our business and wondering if we're going to make it through, is going through and checking all my orders for all the supplies that I use for foam aids and finding out that my valves aren't coming and I only have so many, and I if I don't have them, I'm going to have to shut that portion down or find another source for them. And every other, so I've been frantically looking at different sources to buy these parts, but they're 2 or 3 times as much. And so if you don't have a foam mate and you've been wanting to get one, you better order it this week. I can only really guarantee the prices, and the shipping's going through the roof too on us for till the end of the month. And it's not because I want it that way. I would love for us to be able to continue getting our parts from where we've been getting them at the prices that we negotiated. But those brass valves that I have specially made, guess what? I found out that the raw materials and all the brass comes from China. And it's just not coming. And so, you know what though? It affects all of us, and we're all going to get through it. I downloaded this map that was just 2 hours old with all the current, just in the United States, the current coronavirus. And it gets a little scary, but like I said, we're going to come out this thing, and we're going to come out looking good on the other side, and we're going to have learned a lot of things. And I think from a foreign policy standpoint, a lot of countries are going to change their stance on things. And I completely try and leave politics out of the Honeydew Carpenters channel, aside from the fact that I'm just patriotic and I'm a veteran and I always wear a USA hat, and I always have, even before I started our channel. But one thing I learned that is just, that is super worrisome and scared, and it's not a left or a right or a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's just the United States took a certain stance on foreign policy with NAFTA over a quarter century, like 30 years ago. And, between Clinton and the Bushes and Obama, so there's been 2 Republican presidents, 2 Democrats. It doesn't matter. They just kind of shipped a ton of our industry to China and left it in the hands of communist China. And when I found out that 96% of antibiotics are produced in China and that they were threatening to cut us off, wow, that just is insane. And I actually looked up 1.2 million people in the United States every year contract a antibiotic resistant staph infection, and upwards of between 15 and 30% of them die from it. And what that means is, and that's something that's very near and dear and close to me, because in 2008 I contracted one, and the whole side of my head blew up about this big, and my eye was swelled shut. I was in the hospital for a week, and for 4 days, the doctors worked frantically trying to put different combinations of antibiotics together to try and save my life. And they were successful. Um, but if we don't have those raw materials and those from antibiotic raw materials, that wouldn't have been able to happen. And different, you just can't put that much life and death control of your in the hands of somebody else. And man, 96%. If they did cut us off, if that doesn't scare you, it should, because your little kid could die from a cut, you know.
Well, let's move on to lighter
So, anyways, yeah.
Malware says, hello from West Michigan. The snow is gone except some piles, but has been replaced with mud. Stay safe, everyone. We're dealing with a lot of mud here, too, but we still have big piles of snow in places where it got
And
piled
actually, it's been really heavy slush snowing in the mornings and then melting away in the afternoon. So it's still pretty cold.
We got a hello or hey from Cloquet MN. Mitch Anthony says, morning. Hopefully everyone is staying safe. Yes, we all hope everyone's staying safe. William Craig says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, William.
Hey, William. How you doing, buddy?
DFW Michael says, morning. Clarence says, let's do America.
Right.
Alan says, hi from Parsons, KS. Hello, Alan. Terry Oak says, hello, my clear-thinking friend. Hello, Terry. How's it going? Anita says, heads up to watch your terminology. Other live streams have been shut down from using terms specifically about the CV issue. Correct.
Yeah, yes. That's a good point. You know what? We don't want to sensationalize anything or make it into something that it isn't. I want to be upbeat about it. I know we're going to beat it, and I know that we're going to come through the other side, but we're going to have to be smart about, you know, how we handle things like this in the future, because things like this always come on. There's been the swine flu and SARS and Ebola, and they come, but we got to be prepared to handle them. And so.
Bob Davis says, morning, guys. I have not received my phone mate yet. Any ideas when I could expect it? Bob Davis, do you recognize that?
I don't, but
we don't know off the top of our head, Bob. Sorry. We'll have to look at our...
Why don't you send us an email and we'll respond to you today and get it coming.
Julie says this crisis will fast forward technology. Good things balance bad things. Good things are true. Coming.
Yep. I believe that 1,000%.
Seek Defined says, good morning. I'm optimistic this will get better. It's a great time to grow an indoor garden. Smiley face. Right? Anita says, amen to Julie. So she agrees with you. Beaver Creek Farm Life, thank you for everything you do. He put our email up, honeydewcarpenter1@gmail.com. He put our Etsy site up for our Etsy shop, and he put our Teespring account where you can go buy a mug or a t-shirt. And then he put our website up there, all links that you can click on and go to and check those out. So thank you, Beaver Creek Farm Life. Kenny says, hey from East Washington. Hope all is well. It's good. It's going good over here. Oh, Kenny, we're so glad to hear it's going good for you. That's so awesome. Kenny. Destiny says, Faith, we will be okay. God bless America and bless you. Thank you, Destiny. Julia says, hello from Allen Reed, Texas. Hello.
Oh, wow.
Charles says, Northern Wisconsin, hello. Time for many in the USA. 5 years, who cares? Just do it. That's awesome. David Bennett says, are we there yet? Thumbs up.
Right.
Julie says, thank God you survived your antibiotic reaction. God needs you to share your inventions and logistical thought
It's
process.
funny that
Thank you both.
when I was thinking about that, and it just, I mean, it really hit me hard. I was like, if we were in a situation where we didn't have the necessary things to get me through that in 2008, there would be no foam maker, there would be no air crate, there would be my two boys wouldn't have been born. I mean, it would just be completely different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the the world needs all of us, and it needs all of our ideas, and so we just need to keep it in mind.
Ken says, love you all. Thank you, Ken. We love all of you guys too. Gail says, morning, my buds. Please don't let it get you down. We support you totally. Gail, thank
Oh,
you
you're
so
awesome.
much. That means a ton to us. Means a great amount. David says, good afternoon, my movie stars. You always make me smile, David. Thank you. Christopher Myers says, spring blessings. Thank
Right.
you. Aw.
And guys, as of right now, all of our Honeydew Carpenter universities are in limbo, meaning they're canceled for right now until we figure out, you know, what's gonna go on. We don't want to do anything. We just want to stay vigilant and do our part and whatnot. And I've been looking at different ways of maybe doing some virtual universities. They're really inexpensive, so that everybody can afford them. You know, between $50 and $100 or something, where we can come on as a group of a dozen people virtually, and then we can go through and just kind of have a mastermind with that group of people and ask the questions and get them answered and come up with new ideas, because we have all the ideas of people with different perspectives. So I'm looking at trying to do some other things to, other than just in-person groups and stuff, and so we'll see how that goes.
Right. William Craig says that he just completed a 14 days of self-imposed isolation and going for another 14 days.
You know what?
Wow.
Melanie's mom is in that group of older people, and grandma and grandpa too, that are at a higher risk. And so they're also doing that. And I'm proud of you, William, for doing that. Keep up the good work. You're awesome. And mom has actually been having us go to the grocery store, and while we're there for our family, and she gives us a list and we'll pick it up, and then we'll let that set a day, because I guess they've determined that no more than 19 hours uh, on a hard surface or a soft surface the virus can live, and then we'll take it to her. And so we're trying to do everything we can to help out.
David Bennett says chilly up here in the Catskill Mountain Boonies.
Man, that's a good place to be.
Right. Anita Johnson says yes. Be smart, be kind, take care of each other, and plant an herb garden.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually trying that, and I'm not doing very good with my basil.
That's the one thing we love is basil, because Melanie makes some really neat, authentic pizzas, and we use basil leaves on them. And if anybody has any ideas about how to do basil, we'll take your advice.
I found out it doesn't like direct sunlight. I did find that out, so, but I am trying. Green Builders, hello from Central Mexico. Well, hello. Anita says, I'm 7 days in, sort of. I did some grocery shopping and household shopping. That is honestly pretty much what we are doing too. If we need some groceries, we run to the store. And I mean, of course, we've been going out to our shop and everything like that.
Right.
But we're mostly the only ones in the shop. That's not. It's still, we can still consider that being isolated.
Right.
William Craig says, I'm setting up my indoor garden today. That's awesome. Seek to Find says, what have you two been up to lately? Oh my gosh. Work.
You know, Melanie was out at the shop with me, and she's been filming me build
A new
a
invention.
new invention. And so hopefully I'll get it out here soon. I want to be sure that I have resources to get the raw materials to build them for people if they so want them. But so I'm not even going to tell you what it is right now, but it's cool. It's super cool.
It is awesome. Terry Oak says, can you let us know dates for the HDCU sessions? Just list the dates you want to do them. That way we cannot buy tickets while they are cheap. If the dates change, we can change tickets. Right now, everything's on hold, Terry, because
For in-person stuff,
yeah,
we just think it's the good thing to do right now, and so we're gonna look at different ways of doing it. Possibly some virtual question and answer sessions on different subject matters that people are interested in than I do.
all right. Good morning, lovely friends. Got a question about aircrete, or it says aircrete, but I'm wondering if they meant aircrete as a firewall. Could we make a 4-foot by 6-foot panels to make a fence for fire protection at a property line? What would the formula be, and thanks?
Just a standard aircrete formula would make a great firewall, because an in open air fire in typical situations, it would only be hot for a short period of time, and it handles short period bursts of intense heat, upwards of 2,000 or 3,000 degrees, very well. And I love the idea. I love the idea of people, even in apartment buildings, coming up with different engineering specifications and filling walls with aircrete for firewalls. You know, right now they use sheetrock, the green stuff, 1 inch thick in double layers, so it's super heavy. And obviously that's the way they've spec'd it, but you know, that's the building lobby.
So I wonder if he is using that as a build a fence for a firewall, and would he need to seal it, the fence, with anything, or just leave it as aircrete?
He could just leave it as aircrete. It wouldn't matter. You know that panel that's like a year and a half old that was left over from the shed, and we were out there and I hit it with a hammer yesterday? You see how strong that is? I mean, I could take a torch to that right now and it wouldn't even, I mean, it would be fine. Aircrete, I think it would make a great firewall.
Donald says, Montreal alive. Keep on project. Doug says, Luther, Texas is in the house. I'm just working on my airplane at home, and I live in the middle of nowhere and pretty much isolated. Stay positive. Thanks, Doug, and have fun working on your plane. Christopher Meyer says, basil likes warmth to sprout.
Right.
Okay, thanks for that tip.
Aircrete, made in the USA.
Right? David Bennett says, I will send you a link. Thanks, David. That's awesome. I don't know that name, but it says freeze ice cube trays of ground basil.
Huh.
That's a thought. Anita Johnson says, I hear basil is hard to get the knack of. I am trying yet again to. Indirect light, I have lots of that. LOL. Right? I do have lots of that too, but it took me a while to find out it does like the indirect light. Christopher Meyer says, also, holy basil or tulsi is lovely. Huh, I have no idea. Christopher Meyer says, basil is considered a love herb.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, we need to get that figured out quick.
Julie Henderson says, invest in your local CSA. Everyone needs food. Go local, right? Kevin says, so appropriate, you guys. The two of you rock. Watch you often. Would aircrete in sections work for a deck?
you would have to engineer it right. You'd basically have to make wall panels and set them down across it, and then you would have to coat it with a hard surface, similar to the way I built Grandpa's building and put a hard surface of stucco on it, because aircrete just does not make a good wear surface to walk on. It just doesn't. I'm going to experiment with different ways of doing like layered aircrete things, where you take and put a lighter, more aerated aircrete down, and then you can take and make a little more dense aircrete with maybe some sand in it. It's kind of on the back burner because aircrete works so well as a mass and as a R-value insulator, kind of in combination with each other, that it has so many great benefits for any building that you build with it, that I don't want people to get off track thinking of it as something that it's not. It's not going to replace a board for a deck.
And also, even though aircrete does flow, it does slowly absorb water in through it too.
It does.
So you'd have to try and seal it. Carmen says, hi, so glad to tell you we started making your stove. We are on our way. Thanks for the inspiration and fun. Carmen, that is so
awesome. Wonderful
to hear. Thank you for letting us know that and sharing that. And it's so good to hear from you. I hope things are going good for you down there in Utah. Always, oh, that's a different language, so I don't know what they're saying. Oops. So, hi. Devin says, we'll send you a link to counter COVID-19. It's 1 year microbiology. All right, cool. The only problem with aircrete is curing time.
Yeah, I found with my wall panel mix, I could pour it, and then we would leave it for, usually it was in the afternoon when we would pour, and so in the morning when we came, it would only be about 16, 18 hours later. Had a good skin on it. We would cover it with Visqueen and just let it do its thing. It's basically in a greenhouse at that point, and part of the day it gets sun on it, and it was just a real moist environment. And you leave it that way for 3 or 4 days, and I mean, it's pretty hard. You can walk on it, you can lift the panel and put them in place. And so
we found it way easier to try and pour multiple panels at once in a wide, big area, like a driveway, a flat surface.
Right.
And then let it all set up so that we could do it more, instead of just like one panel at a time, because that was hard.
Well, we kind of had to learn how to make them and experiment.
Right.
So the first 10 or so we made, we did them one at a time.
Beaver Creek Farm Life, thank you for translating that for me from, I still don't know how to say his name, but hi from Brazil. I learn a lot from you even without understanding English.
That's awesome.
I'm so glad that he put that up there, and thank you for getting on, because, yeah, there is a language barrier, but we're still communicating, which is awesome. So thumbs up. Anita says, thanks, Beaver Creek. Yes, thank you, Beaver Creek. You're awesome. Smart ideas. This is how innovation happens.
Right.
Right? I always tell him it's Imagineering.
What she does is, I go, okay, babe, these gable ends weigh about twice as much as a panel, so they're like about 150, 160 pounds. So we're going to set up 2 ladders, and you're going to get on one side, and I'm going to get on the other, and we're going to climb up. And she's like, no, you're not. You're going to have to figure out a way to lift those up and hoist them up. And I'm like, okay.
You guys, this is really a conversation that we have had. Because I know I'm strong, but I didn't want to have to try and be strong by balancing on a ladder with 80 or 90 extra pounds. And so I'm just like...
So if you see that hoist in those videos, that's just something that... that's just kind of in my wheelhouse. We had a problem, and I just went walking through Army surplus looking for different things I could use to build it, and we did.
Right. And thank you, because I didn't want to do that.
Ended up you didn't have to do a whole lot at all.
Another one that I don't understand. How about hat initials? Make aircrete great anywhere. I like that.
I do too. That's a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome. DT. Okay. The most used command in the Bible is fear not. Psalms 91 for these times.
I believe he's right. The only thing we really have to fear is fear itself. If we took all that fear energy and focused it on solutions, my goodness, the things we could accomplish would be crazy.
Right.
Smart.
I don't know what that says. Mark Wilson says, hello, y'all. How are all of you beautiful ladies and you boys doing? We're doing great, thanks.
The boys are awesome.
Beaver Creek Farm Life, translated for us again. We love you so much. I wish you success.
Oh.
Wow, that's a very nice comment, and thank you. We love all of you guys too. So thank you. Seek to Find says, I loved the hoist you built.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people did. Somebody actually wanted me to do a PDF for it so that they could recreate it and build it, and then I'm like, okay. It's just something I figured out, and man, it works good. I've lifted, we went to pick up a compressor, and I had no way to get it on the trailer, and so I'm like, oh, I'll just stick my hoist up on the trailer, and when we got there, I just set the hoist up and put it together, rolled it to the end of the trailer, lifted up a 400, 500-pound compressor, and then rolled it back and set it down, and then tied down the compressor, disassembled the hoist, and man, it worked great.
It worked awesome.
I should repost that video. Some of my videos that weren't getting any views of us when we were putting the shop together, I pulled down. I should repost some of them old videos because they're really kind of cool. They kind of showcase the ingenuity.
And another message from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know what it
We're getting
says.
a lot of love from Brazil, baby.
Yeah. Do you know what? You need to learn a second language.
Okay.
In the time we don't have. Yes, please repost. Congratulations to you. I live in Vietnam. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, a couple more.
Yeah, we're at almost 30 minutes, so.
Yeah, so we'll take a couple more messages and then it'll be time to go, you guys. And we hope you guys all have a wonderful Saturday.
And keep your chins up, keep your head up. We love you all. We'll get through this.
Julie Henderson says, yes, please do repost the older videos. And can you use a pallet jack for a hoist? A joist. Does it mean hoist or joist?
A pallet jack for the, I think he meant hoist. Yeah, a pallet jack. Yeah, that's one of those things on wheels, and you jack it.
I was just going to ask what one is.
I don't know what you would use it for, except for lifting pallets of stuff.
I don't know either. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Get feeling better. And we love all of you guys.